Dollar Tree may have to change their name. It's been announced that they're going to be raising prices on some items by as much as $1.50. And it's a sign of tough economic times America's facing with the highest inflation rate in 30 years. It's also a primary factor in President Biden's all-time low approval rating.
Well, today, the president signs his $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill into law. The question is, with a sinking economy, does he have the support to get his $1.75 trillion Build Back Better Act passed? Dale Hurd has more.
As the House prepares to take up Part 2 of Joe Biden's spending plan, the $1.75 trillion Build Back Better Act, his plummeting poll numbers raise the question, can he get the political support he needs to pass it? Biden's approval rating stands at 41%, the lowest of his presidency. 55% disapprove of his handling of the economy. And if the midterm elections were held today, Americans would vote 51% Republican and only 41% Democrat, the widest margin since 1981. Inflation is the highest in 30 years, 6.2%. One sign of the times, Dollar Tree has announced it will be raising prices on some items by as much as $1.50. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says it's the pandemic and not all the big spending in Washington that has fueled inflation.
The pandemic has been calling the shots for the economy and for inflation. And if we want to get inflation down, I think continuing to make progress against the pandemic is the most important thing we can do.
And Joe Biden's economic advisor says passing the expensive almost $2 trillion Build Back Better legislation is the key to fighting inflation, which is exactly the opposite from standard economic thinking.
This, more than anything, will go at the costs that Americans face. You talk about health care, one of the biggest costs that American families face. This will lower prescription drug prices, put a cap on prescription drug costs for our seniors.
Economist Stephen Moore told CBN's Faith Nation program, no, that won't lower inflation.
This is kind of a laughable claim by the Biden administration. I think anybody, even with a junior high school education, knows that if you print more money and borrow more money, trillions of dollars, that's going to make inflation worse, not better.
The House is expected to pass Biden's giant social spending plan this week, but the White House needed 19 Republicans to pass the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, and so far no Republicans support this latest bill. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says that if it gets to the Senate, West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin and fellow moderate Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona will have a say. Both have opposed the high price of the spending bill. Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is urging the White House to tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help bring down gasoline prices. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, you expect politicians to do what politicians always do, which is, well, we need some kind of bill, we need some kind of spending program, we need another government program to solve this. And it just seems to be a disconnect from reality that the more the government spends, you're actually going to increase inflation. And that's just sort of basic. I mean, just look at history. And the more the government prints money, well, the less valuable that money is, and prices are going to go up. So, but that's what politicians do, and they want to show, well, we're taming inflation, we're doing something here, and we're passing these big bills, and we're getting the headlines for the bills, so please elect us again. That's just the way politicians are, and they seem to live in some kind of alternate reality, and that's on both sides of the aisle.